Hi, welcome to this session on must-do sets for CAT LRDI preparation. These are sets which you should not miss whether you're revising or starting your CAT LRDI preparation. In this session, we'll be looking at a multiple set of topics, binary logic, trial and error, coding and decoding. Now, if you were to look at just broadly what is the usage of these topics in the CAT examination, binary logic are not frequent in CAT at all. Right? They last came in CAT and probably CAT 2001. And while these questions come up a lot in your mock examinations, they are not directly related to the CAT examination. That said, binary logic questions do help you develop logic, especially for trial and error sort of problems. In fact, most of binary logic questions can be solved using trial and error. Which brings us to the next scenario. Trial and error questions. Again, these are a category of questions. This is not a particular topic as such. Now, trial and error questions basically come up everywhere in the CAT LR section. In fact, almost all LR sets these days require some amount of trial and error to be able to solve this. So it's a very nice method to be able to learn. Coding and decoding is an extension of trial and error. There are some coding questions which can be solved directly. There are some coding and decoding questions which require trial and error. Now, coding and decoding has been very frequent in the last 4 CAT examination. Earlier, it used to be relegated to exams like bank exams, NMAT, etc. But over the last 4 CAT examination paper, one set has come up at least in one slot every time on coding and decoding section. So let's get on with these sets. If you are running short of time, obviously you can skip to the relevant sets. Each of the videos which you'll be releasing will have links available in the description where if you click on it, you can skip to the relevant set. So this is a set which is based on trial and error. This is a watered down version of the type of questions that you get in mock, but you will probably be able to get your approach right on how to try solving those type of problems. These type of problems are pretty frequent in your mock examinations as well as it has appeared in CAT 2016 as well. So let's see how to approach these type of problems. An exam has 5 questions, 1 to 5. Each question has 5 answer choices, A to E. Only one of the answer choices is correct. 5 friends, Prashant, Kadir, Roshan, Sam, Taran, PQRST. Each attempted all the 5 questions in the examination. The answer marked by them are given in the following table. So this is the answers marked by all of them. So the way to read this table is something like this. So if we were to look at question number 3, Prashant marked option A, Kadir and Roshan marked option B, and Sam and Taran marked option A. And if we were to look at Kadir's answer choices, Kadir marked option B for question 1, E for question 2, B for 3 and 4, and option D for question number 5. Then you have some additional information regarding the answers, etc. And then the questions are basically which friend got all the questions correct, what is the right choice, how many questions are answered correctly by Kadir, which of the following is the correct combination of friends and number of questions attempted wrongly by them. Okay, so let's try to figure out these sets. Now the key point in this set is to read the information, additional information to help you solve the set, and then try to make sure that that information fits in with the answer key or the pattern of answers which are marked by each of them. Okay, so let's see what the information actually says. Each question was answered, each person has answered at least one question correct or right in the examination. So there is nobody who got all 5 wrong. There's nobody who got all 5 wrong. Right, so everyone got at least one answer correct. So one of the answers of Kadir is correct. One of the answers of Prashant is correct. One of the answers of Roshan is correct. One of the answers of Sam is correct. One of the answers of Taran is correct. Okay, that is there. Except for Taran and Kadir, who got the same number of correct answers in all the different questions correct. Who got the same number of correct answers. All others got different number of questions correct in the examination. So Kadir and Taran. So these two people had the same number of correct and wrong answers. Everyone else had a different number of right and wrong answers. So if Kadir and Taran got 4 right, 1 wrong, nobody else can get 4 right, 1 wrong. So Prashant can get 3 right, 2 wrong, or 1 right, 4 wrong, or 5 right, 0 wrong, but they cannot get 4 and 1. Okay, and similarly, whatever Prashant gets has to be different for Roshan, and Roshan also has to be different from Kader and Taran. Right, same with Sam. Right, so these other other 3 get different answer patterns. Right, which means overall there are 4 different answer patterns. 1 for Kader and Taran, and 1 each for Prashant, Roshan, and Sam. Now, just because they got same number of answers correct doesn't mean that their answers are going to be the same for each of the question. For example, Kader might get this right, right, but the other 3 wrong, right, and Taran can get this right, and this right, and the other 3 wrong. Right, it is possible. It is possible. Right, so their answers need not match, but their overall scores in terms of right and wrong will be matching. Okay, and it also says exactly one of them got all the answers correct in the examination. So one of them got 5 right, 0 wrong, and we also know it cannot be Kader and Taran, because then you'll have 2 people who will get 5 right, 0 wrong. Right, which means that if you find the person who got all of them right, find the person who got all of them right, then you know that is the answer key for the examination. We can also find out what the scores of the others were and then match with the rest of the information. So let's try to do this. We'll first figure out whether we'll first do a trial and error. If Prashant is right, if that works out, we'll check with that does not work out, we'll check with Roshan and then with Sam. We'll assume that their answers are the correct answers. So let's do this trial and error. Okay, so we know Kader and Taran got the same number of answers correct, but cannot be 5-0. Okay, let's assume Prashant is all correct. Prashant is all correct. Prashant is all correct. So Prashant will get a score of 5. Now let's check what will be the score of Kader. Kader will get B right, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. So Kader will get 2 right, 1 wrong. Let's check with Taran. What will be the score of Taran? Taran will get 1 right, 3 right, 4 right, 5 right. So Kader will get 4 right, 1 wrong. Now this contradicts the information in statement 2. Right, if Prashant marked all the right answers, then Kader's score according to that answer key is 2 correct, which is question 1 and question 5. Whereas Taran's score will be 4 right. 1, 3, 4 and 5. They are all right. Right. This contradicts the information in statement 2. So obviously Prashant cannot be the one who got all right. Now the second round of assumption, let's assume Roshan got everything right. If Roshan got everything right, let's check the score of Kader. Kader will be, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is right, wrong, wrong. So Kader gets 1 wrong, 1 right, 4 wrongs. Let's look at Taran. Wrong, 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 right, wrong. So we'll have 1 right, 4 wrong. Okay, this matches this part. But we also need to make sure that the other 2 people got distinct scores. Right, Roshan is 5 right, 0 wrong. Okay, so let's check with Prashant and Sam. Okay, Prashant is this wrong, right, wrong, right, wrong. So 2 right, 3 wrong. Okay, let's look at Sam. Sam is right, right, wrong, wrong, wrong. Sam also got 2 right, 3 wrong. Now this is also not correct, right? Because now you have 2 pairs which have the same set of correct answers. Kader and Taran has 1 right, 4 wrong, and Prashant and Sam have 2 right, 3 wrong, which again contradicts statement 2. So this scenario is also not possible. So the only one available now is Sam, and Sam has to get everything right. So we can calculate the scores of others on the basis of Sam. So if I get Sam all right, that will be the answer key for the examination. So it'll be 5 right, 0 wrong. Let's calculate the scores of others. Let's do Kader and Taran first. Kader, this is right, wrong, wrong, right, right. So 3 right, 2 wrong. Taran should also get the same score. Right, wrong, right, wrong, right. So 3 right, 2 wrongs. Okay, let's check Roshan. Wrong, right, wrong, wrong, wrong. 1 right, 4 wrongs. And Prashant. Right, 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 wrong, right. 4 right, 1 wrong. Okay, so this matches with all the information. We have figured out who got all right. We know the scores of each of them. Nothing much left to do. Let's go to the questions and answer them. Okay, so I've summarized this part. Okay, which friend got all the questions correct? Sam is the one, option D. Question number 2, what is the right choice for question 2? For question 2, what is the right choice? Right choice is option C. So B here. Question number 3, how many questions were answered correctly by Kader? Kader got 3 right. And question number 4, which of the following combinations is correct for the name of friend and the number of questions attempted wrongly? Not right, wrongly by them. So wrong will be 1, 2, 4, 0 and 2. Right, so I need to check with this. Prashant 4. Prashant actually got 4 right, not 4 wrong. So this is out. Sam got 0 wrong. This is correct. The other 2 are obviously wrong. So option 2. Pretty straightforward question. It's a watered down question of what you normally get, right? But the key point is basically you need to check based on the given information, make sure that the information is consistent with the rest of the conditions which are given to you. Trial and error sort of set in an exam situation will probably take you about 8 to 10 minutes in an exam situation. Moderate, easy to moderate level difficulty. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. 3 friends, Karan, Kader, and Kim, KKK, okay, are comparing their heights. It is known that their heights are between 63 and 69 inches, both inclusive. So their height is between 63 to 69, right? It is known that exactly one of the 3 always lies, another one of the 3 always tells the truth, and the third person alternates between truth and lie in any order. The following were the statements made by them, right? So one of them is a truth teller, always telling the truth. One of them is a liar, always telling a lie. And the third one is an alternator. He can be a true-false true alternator or false true false alternator. He cannot make 2 consecutive true statements. He cannot make 2 consecutive false statements. So if you know one statement is true, the next statement has to be false. Similarly, if one statement is false, we know the next statement has to be true, right? And it is also known that none of the 2 friends are of the same height, and the height of each person is a natural number when expressed in inches. So it cannot be 63.5. It has to be 64, 65 till 69. Right, only natural numbers. And if you look at the questions, it looks like multiple scenario. If, not possible, right? So we'll have to look at cases. So the easiest way to do it is assume Karan is a truth teller. Check if it is consistent with the other 2 statements and their personalities. If that is true, and even if it is not true, Kader is a truth teller. Look at the scenarios, and if Kim is a truth teller, what will be the scenarios? Because there are all scenarios, we might as well calculate those scenarios first and see what comes out of it. Okay, so I've created a table of sorts. Right, so let's assume Karan is a truth teller first. Now, if Karan is a truth teller, right, all 3 statements will be true. Right, what are his statements? I am taller than Kim by 2 inches. So, okay, we'll come to this later. Kader isn't telling his correct height. So, Kader's first statement is false. Kader's first statement is false. right? And Kim's height is between 64 and 68. Kim's height is between 64 and 68. So Kim is basically lying. His second statement is a lie. Right. Now, Kadir can be an alternator or a liar. Kim can also be an alternator or liar, because I don't know. I have information about only one of the statements. Now let's look at Kim. Kim, we know the second statement is false. Look, if you look at the third statement, he says Karan is lying about my height. Now that is not possible, because Karan is a truth teller. He cannot lie, right? So if I am assuming that Karan is a truth teller, then Kim's third statement will also be false. Now, since Kim makes two consecutive false statements, his first statement also has to be false, right? So Kim has to be a liar and Kadir has to be an alternator. Now, because Kadir is an alternator, it has to be false, true, false. Now let's check what are the cases. Kadir says my height is 64, which should be factually false. So not 64. Kim's height is 66 inches. Now his second statement is true, otherwise he'll not be an alternator. So Kim's height is 66. Now if you go back to Karan's first statement, Karan says I'm taller than Kim by 2 inches. So Karan should be 68. Right? And his third statement will be false. Karan is shorter than me. This is false. So Karan has to be taller than Kadir. So he has to be less than 68. Right? He has to be less than 68. Okay. Let's look at Kim. All his three statements should be false. Karan is not the tallest. This is false. And it's factually correct also now, because Kim is 66, Kadir is less than 68, right? And Karan is 68. So this is false. My height is 69. We have already done this, and Karan is lying about this. So in this scenario, when Karan is the truth teller, Kim will become the liar, Kadir will become the alternator, and we know Karan's height, we know Kim's height, and we know that Kadir cannot be 64. He can be 65. He cannot be 66, he can be 67, he can be 63 also. He can be 63, 65, 67. We'll come back to that later once we do it. Okay. Now, the second scenario will be when Kadir will be a truth teller. Now, let's see what happens when Kadir is a truth teller. Now, when Kadir is a truth teller, all his three statements should be correct. Right? My height is 64. Kim's height is 66. And Karan is shorter than me. So he has to be less than 64. Right? Karan has to be less than 64. Now the only height less than 64 is 63, because it's from 63 to 69. So Karan will be 63. Now let's check if this matches with the rest of the statements. So all his three statements are true. Now let's compare Karan. Karan says I'm taller than Kim by 2 inches. Now this is a false statement. Right. Kadir isn't telling his correct height. This is also false. So Karan has to be a liar and Kim has to be an alternator. Now let's see if their statements match their personality. See, I assumed that Kadir is the truth teller. So if it does not match their personalities, then my original assumption that Kadir is a truth teller will be false. Right? So because he has made two false statements, his third statement will also be false. This is false. So Kim's height is between 64 and 68. So Kim's height should be outside this range. It should be either less than 64 or more than 68. Now, less than 64 is already taken by Karan. Right? So Kim's height should be 69. Right? But Kim's height is 66. This is not possible. Right? So logically speaking, it's not compatible. Either Kadir is not the full truth teller, or Karan cannot be a complete liar. But because he has already made two statements false, he cannot be an alternator also. Right? So this scenario is not logically consistent. This scenario is not logically consistent. So Kadir cannot be a truth teller. Now I can answer one of the questions. Right? Which of the following is not possible? Kadir always tells the truth is not possible. Right? Now, we have seen Karan being a truth teller, Kadir being a truth teller was out. So the third scenario will be when Kim is a truth teller. Now, if Kim is a truth teller, all his three statements should be true. So Karan is not the tallest. should be true. My height is 69 inches, which is consistent. If you are 69 inches, you have to be the tallest. So 1 and 2 are consistent with each other. So Kim's height is 69. Right? Karan is lying about my height. Karan says I'm taller than Kim by 2 inches, which is now false. So this is true. Right? All three are true. So Karan is lying about my height. So first statement of Karan is false. Right? Kabir isn't telling his correct height. We don't know. We don't know Karan's personality as of now. If you look at the third statement, Kim's height is between 64 and 68 inches. 64 and 68 inches. Now, Kim's height is 69. So, third statement is also false. Now, I cannot say Karan is a liar for sure. He can be an alternator if he makes a true statement in between. He can be a liar if he makes a false statement in between. So, as of now, I don't know anything about this. Now, let's look at Kader. Kader says my height is 64 inches. This is possible. We'd have no other contradictory information as such. Kim's height is 66 inches. This is false. So his second statement is false. And Karan is shorter than me. Now, if this is true, Karan can be 63, which can be consistent with the rest of the statement. Right? Or it can be false also. Now, what does this leave me with? Kader, we know the second statement is false. Karan, we know the first and the third statement is false. So, you can have a scenario when Karan is a liar and Kader is an alternator. Or you can have a scenario where Kader is a liar and Karan is an alternator. Right? So this will be true, true, true. This will be false, true, false. And all three will be false. And in this case, this will be true. Sorry, this will be false. And these two will also be, so no, alternator, so true and true. Right, so let's fit the data. This is 69. Alright, so let's look at what happens if Karan is a liar and Kader is the alternator. If Karan is a liar, all his three statements will be false. Right, we already know the first and the last are false. Second statement will also be false. What is the second statement? The second statement says Kader isn't telling his correct height. This is a false statement. So the true statement would be Kader is telling his correct height. So Kader's height is correct, which will be consistent with what Kader's personality is. Kader is an alternator, so his first and third in this case are true. Right. So Kader's height is 64. Right. Kader's last statement will also be true. Karan is shorter than me. Shorter than me, the only height available is 63 inches. Right? So we know the heights of all three. Okay, now what happens if Kader is a liar and Karan is an alternator? If Karan is an alternator, right, his second statement will be true and Kader's first and last will also be false. Right? Kader's first and last will also be false. So it says Karan is shorter than me is false. So Karan is taller than Kader. That will be the true statement. So he's shorter than Karan. Right? His false statement is his height is 64. His height cannot be 64. And this will now become consistent with this part. Right? So we know partially their heights. We know all the three scenarios. We have already answered one question. Let's answer the remaining questions and see what comes out of it. Right, I have written this down much more neatly. So Karan is a truth teller. Here Kim is a truth teller, Karan is a liar, Kader alternator, truth teller, alternator, liar. Okay, as we discussed. Okay, question number 4 we had already solved. Which of them is not possible? Kabir always tells the truth. This is not possible. Okay, first one. If Karan always speaks the truth, which means this first case, right? This case is what we are looking at. How many of the following statements is or are definitely true? They have to be definitely true. Kim's height is 65 inches. Is actually 66. This is false. Karan is not the tallest. This is also false. Karan is actually the tallest. And Kader's height is 64. This is also false. So all three statements are false. 0 will be your correct choice. Right? Okay. Question number 2. Kim's height is 69 inches when, right? So whenever this happens, Kim's height is 69. Can we guarantee that? If Karan is a liar, can we guarantee Kim's height is 69 inches? If Karan is a liar, Karan is a truth teller, Karan is a liar, kind of, okay. So in this case, can we guarantee that Kim's height is 69 inches? Right? We can guarantee his height is 69 inches. Right? Okay. Second statement says Kadir is an alternator. So if Kadir is an alternator, can we guarantee that Kim is going to be 69? If Kadir is an alternator, which is this case and this case, in both these cases, Kadir is an alternator. Now here, we know Kim is 69, but here Kim is only 66. So while Karan being a liar guarantees that Kim is 69, Kadir is an alternator, does not guarantee that Kim is going to be 69. So we need to be very careful with this. We need to be very careful with the options. Okay. This says Kadir's height is 69 when this happens. Right. So what is the case for when? When A. So if you say when A, then B. Right. So A will be a subset of B. Right. So if A happens, B is guaranteed to happen. But so Karan is a liar, Kim is 69 for sure. Right. But just because Kadir is an alternator, that doesn't guarantee Kim to be 69. So I cannot say second is a guarantee. Right. Only first one is a guarantee, option A. It will not be option C, it will be option A. This has to be very clear with this. Okay. Question number 3. If Kadir is an alternator, again these two cases, which of the following is true? Which of the following is true? Kim is 69, possible. Kim is 66, this is also possible. So one of them is definitely true, option C. Right? So brilliant questions. I mean, the original set is not very difficult to manage. Right? Again, there is a lot of quant involved. You need to be very clear about it. This is also not very easy. This is also pretty tricky. The options and the questions make it even more interesting to solve. In an exam situation, it will take you 10 to 12 minutes to solve this. It's a moderate to difficult, bordering towards difficult sort of a set. A lot of students miss out on good B schools because they simply don't apply and they are ignorant. They don't do any research beyond the IIMs and they are more worried about their profile and academics, etc., rather than actually getting into a good B schools and making a career in the management field. If you would like personalized B school assistance, all you need to do is fill up the Google document. Link is available in the description of this video and we'll send you individual B school recommendations which fit your profile and your career aspirations. Hi, this is a question on coding and decoding. It's moderate level question. It's not difficult, and if you have in the practice of solving those bank level papers, etc., this question should not be very difficult to solve. Let's see what this says. According to a coding scheme, the sentence peacock is designated at the National Bird of India is coded as this. There's some number schemes which are given, right? The coding scheme has the following rules. It is case insensitive, which means whether you have capital I or small I, capital J or small j, it will be the same code. Each letter has a unique code, which is a single digit from 1 to 9. Okay. Each letter has, now given that there are 26 alphabets and there are only 9 digits, digits will be repeated. Now let's see what this says. Digit 9 codes 2 letters while every other digit codes 3 letters. So 1 to 8 will have 3 letters each. So for example, 1 can code A, C and K, something like that. This might be not be the case, right? But it can code only 3 digits, whereas 9 can code only 2 digits. And you can check 8 into 3 is 24 plus 2, 26 alphabets are coded. The code for the word is constructed by arranging the digits corresponding to the letters in a non-increasing sequence. So if according to the sentence, if it comes as 4 and 3, the code will come out as 34, right? It will be put in increasing order, right? So we need to figure out which code is which. Let's try to figure the codes out before we go to the questions. Okay. Now let's start with the smallest letters. If you look at is and as, right? Both of both of them have an S in common and both of them have a 5 in common, right? Both of them have a 5 in common. So 5 should be S, which also means I should be 3 and A should be 6. Right, so I can take this out. Okay, so now let's take out all the A's and A, S and I's from here. This has an A was 6, so one of the 6 will be gone. I, there are 2 I's, so 2 3's will be gone. Right, I here, so 3, one of the 3's will be gone. National, one of the 3's will be gone. A is 6, so one of the 6 will also be gone. 2 6's will be gone. There are 2 A's here. 2 6's will be gone. S, okay, designated S, so there's a 5 gone. There's an I here, so 3 is gone. A here, so 6 is gone. Right, A here, so 6 is gone. Right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, now what else do we have? We have this much. So let's look at India now. It already has, we have removed 2 I's and an A here. So 1 out of N or D should be 1, another should be 6. One of them should be 1, one of them should be 6. Now if you look at bird here, right, it also has a D in it and it only has a 1 in it. There is no 6 available. So D has to be 1, right? D has to be 1, which means the 6 will be for N, right? 6 will be for N. So I can remove the D here. This is completely gone. Okay, let's look at national. N is 6, so 2 6's are also gone. D is 1, so the 2 1's are gone. Okay, N, there's an N here, so 6, one of the 6's is also gone. All the 6's are gone here. Now, okay, let's move further. Okay, now let's look at off. Okay, off basically has an O in it and an F in it. There is no other F anywhere, but an O is present in peacock, right? There is a 9 here. There's a 9 here. 7 is not present here. So O has to be 7. O has to be 9, which means F has to be 7. So this is out and one of the O's is out. Okay, where else do you have an F? There is no F here. National, there is an O here, so 9 is out. Okay, now from national we have a T, we don't know the code for, right? O was 9, right? T we don't know a code for, and L we don't know the code for. T and L we don't know the code for. So one of them will be 1, other will be 8. One of them will be 1, other will be 8. Now if you go to D, D has an 8 in it but not a 1. So T has to be 8, which means L has to be 1. Right. So national is also taken care of. Right. H. Right. So 8 is taken care of. One of them is 4, one of them is 5. Okay, what else do we have? We have a peacock here. Okay, there are 2 C's. Okay, there are 2 9's available. Right, there are 2 9's available. Right, now if these 2 9's represent 2 different alphabets, right, then you will have 3 different alphabets for 9, but we know that 9 codes only 2 letters, which means both these 9 represent the same alphabet and the only alphabet which repeats is C. So C should be 9, right? C is gone, O is gone, here is gone. Right, we also have A gone from here. right? Now, if you look at the, right, here I have T and H, which is 4 and 5. Sorry, H and E, which is 4 and 5. And there is only 5 available. So E should be 5. H should be 4. Right. So this is done. This is done. Right. So P and K should be both 8s. Right. So Peacock is fully done. Okay. Let's move further. Right. Okay. So I've already done the. So T will come here. T was 8. 4 was H. The is done. Right. So now we are left with these two alphabets and R and D. R and D, one of them will be R and B. One of them will be 3, one of them will be 4. Okay. And what is left here? G and S is done. E. Okay. T is already done here. T is 8. Right. So G has to be 7. So R and B, one of them should be 3, one of them should be 4. This should be R or B. This should be B or R. Right. One of them should be 3, one of them should. So except for these two, I can figure out all the other values. Right. Anything else left? 1. All these are done. Right. So L was there. L is 1 here. Right. L is here. Right. So I have figured out all the letters as of now. Okay. So except for R and B, I can figure out all the other codes. Okay. So let's go to the questions. What can be best concluded about the code for letter L? Letter L is 1 for sure. Option 4. What can be concluded about the code for B? Now B we don't know for sure. It can be 3 or 4. So option 4. How many digits can the complete list of letters associated with that digit be identified? Okay. Now we know each digit codes 3 except for 9, which codes 2. So 9 is completed. 8 is completed. All the others we don't know for sure. So only 2 we know for sure. And the last one, which set of letters cannot be coded with the same digit? Okay, now XYZ, we don't have any XYZ here and all 3 of them can take 2. So it is possible that they take 2. S, U and V, we already know S. S is 5. Now if I put U and V also as 5, there will be 4 letters which will be coded by 5 because E is also coded by 5. So this is not possible. So this is your correct answer. IBM is possible. M we don't know. So M can come here. SEZ is possible. Z we don't know. It can come here. Everything else is possible. SUV is not possible. So this is a question which requires some amount of patience, right? If you transfer it onto a piece of paper, it is much, much faster to do than what we did, right? And you need to just figure out which alphabet is where. Once you do that, it'll take about 4 to 5 minutes to figure that out. Rest of the questions are pretty straightforward to do. That completes this particular question. If you get stuck anywhere with respect to preparing for LRDI, there are some free resources which are available on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist on how to prepare for LRDI. It includes which are the topics which you need to focus on, how much do you need to spend on each area. Also, we tell you how to go about picking sets in the examination, right? So if you are not able to pick even a single set, this is a good framework to start with and build on for your CAT LRDI preparation. If you want any further assistance in terms of speaking with us, getting personal guidance, doing more practice, following a more structured path to LRDI preparation, please do look at our Ultimate LRDI course. Hi, this is a mathematical puzzle, pretty straightforward, should be attempted in the actual examination. This is from CAT 2019, slot 1. Let's see what this says. The following table represents the addition of two 6-digit numbers in the first and the second rows, while the sum is given in the third row. In the representation, each of the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 has been coded with one letter among A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There is no I, J, and K. So if A is 1, then B cannot be 1. If A is 7, B cannot be 7. Right? Both of them have to be different digits. So this alphabet, this digit A is same as this digit A, which is same as this digit A, which is same as this digit A. A and G cannot be the same. But this H and this H are the same. That is what it says. And the questions are which digit does A represent, which digit does B represent, which digit does D not represent, and which digit does G not represent. Okay, so let me just tabulate this. You can do this without this also, but I'm just writing it down for explanation purposes. Okay, now we know it's a 6-digit number, so A cannot be 0. It will not be a 6-digit number at all. Right, now a carry can be only 1. When you add two one-digit numbers, the highest one-digit numbers are 9 and 9, 18. The maximum carry will be 1. You cannot have no carry, because if A is 0, then this will also become 0 and this will become a 5-digit number, not a 6-digit number. So A cannot be 0, so A has to be 1. Right, so this is 1. That's very straightforward. Let me just write this down. Okay. Now, the next question is, what is B? B plus what gives you 1 again, right? 1 plus 9 will give you only 10, right? There is a 1 carry, that is for sure, right? But how will it become 11? That is possible only if there is a carry from here also. And what can be the maximum carry? As we have seen, the maximum carry is 1. So there is some number here that gives a carry of 1. B itself is 9. So 9 plus 1 plus 1 will give you 11. So which you'll put 1 here and 1 here. So B has to be 9. That also is done. Right. B is 9. That is done. Okay. That makes it easy. Okay. Let's see what else can we see. We need to figure out G and D. Okay. 1. Okay. Let's look at F. Right. F plus F ends in an F. 1 plus 1 ends in a 2. 2 plus 2 ends in a 4. 3 plus 3 ends in a 6. 4 plus 4 ends in a 4 plus 4 ends in a 8. 5 plus 5 ends in a 0. Not possible. 6 plus 6 ends in a 2. 7 plus 7 ends in a 4. 8 plus 8 ends in a 6. 9 plus 9 ends in a 8. So it has to be 0 plus 0 equals 0. So F should be 0. This is a 0. This is a 0. F should be 0. So that is also taken care of. Now let's see here. Let's see here. Right. H plus H ends in a 0. Right. Now if there was a carry from here to here, first of all, there will not be any carry. There's an 1 plus J gives you G. 9 is already gone. So 1 plus 8 gives you a 9. Right. Even if there was a carry from here to here, from this operation to here, 1 plus 1 plus 9 will again give you 1. But this is G. This is a different digit altogether. So which means there is no carry from here to here. Right. Now if there is no carry, twice of H ends in a 0, which means H has to be 5. Right. This is 5. Okay. This is a 1. There is no I here. That makes life easier. Now 1 plus 0 gives a C. It cannot give a 1. It cannot give a 1 because A is already taken 1. So C cannot be 1. The only way possible if there is a carry from here to here. For G and K gives you a carry, which means C has to be 2. Right? C has to be 2. Okay. Now what can be J? 1 plus J gives you a G. Now if J is 3, G can be 4. So this is out. If j is 5, g can be 6, but 5 is already taken by h. So g cannot be 6. So that is your fourth question. Right, that is also done. Right, g cannot be 6, j cannot be 5. Now, the leftover question is which among the digits 3, 4, 6 and 7 cannot be represented by D? D cannot take which of them? Now let's look at this addition. That is the only addition which is left. 1 plus j gives you g, right? And g plus k gives you a 1. G plus k results in a number which ends in a 1, right? There is no carry from here because 0 plus 0 gives you a 0. There is no carry, right? Now, how can g plus k end in a 1? You can have 4 plus 7. 6 plus 5 is not possible because 5 is gone. H has taken 5. 3 plus 8, that is possible. 2 plus 9 is not possible because B has taken 9. So this pair has to be 4, 7 or 3, 8. Now if it is 4, 7, now if it is 4, 7, right, GK can be 4 or 7, right, which means J will be either 3 or 6. J will be either 3 or 6, right? If J takes 3, D can take 6. If J takes 6, G can take 7, you can take 3. So both 3 and 6 are possible, right? Okay. Now what happens if G plus K are 3 and 8? Now G cannot be 3 because then J will be equal to 2, which is not possible. So G has to be 8. If G is 8, so J will be 7 and K will be 3. If K takes 3, D can take 4. So 4 is possible, but 7 is not possible. In either ways, 7 is taken either by G or K or J, right? Definitely one of the three will take up 7. So there is no way I can assign 7 to D. That will be your answer, right? So except for question number 3, which was slightly tricky, all the others were pretty straightforward. It required basic additional skills, something which you learn in standard second or third, how to carry, how to add 2 digits and so on. Not a difficult question, but you need to be a little careful. You need to know the basics of number. If you don't know the basics of numbers and addition, you'll struggle a lot, but ideally should be done in an examination. A 6 to 7 minute question that completes this one. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you are notified when we are releasing our next set of videos. Please do like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us through WhatsApp and Telegram as well. All the relevant links are available in the description of this particular video. So this is a question which is on coding and decoding. These type of questions have been very frequent in CAT. You had a question like this in CAT 2018. You had a questions like this in CAT 2019. So this is from CAT 2016, a replica of that particular question. Let's see what this says. A coding system performs the following transformation on the letters of a word. Okay. T0, it says the letter at an odd position is substituted with the next letter in the English alphabet, while the letter at the even position is substituted with the previous letter in the English alphabet. After the substitution, the entire word is written in the reverse order. Okay, so they have given an example. So market M is substituted by N, so 1 afterwards. A is substituted with Z, 1 before that. Okay, R will be S. K will be 1 before, so J. E will be 1 after, so F, and T will be 1 before, so S, and then it's written in reverse order, so it becomes S, F, J, S, Z, N, right? So odd placed words increase by 1, even placed letter decrease by 1. This is for T0, right? And then you finally reverse the order. Now this is also given for Tn, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3. So when n is more than 0, right? This is for only the zeroth transformation. So the first transformation, second transformation, etc. In this case, each letter in the word is substituted by the letter n steps forward in the English alphabet, and the entire word is reversed. So only for T0 you'll have alternate increase, decrease, increase, decrease. Whereas for 1, 2, 3, 4, T1, T2, T3, T4, you just have to increase the words. So basically you just move ahead by n number of words. So if it is T1, you move ahead one word each. So R will become S, A will become B, P will become Q, I will become J, and D will become E, and then you'll read it from the other end. So it will become E, J, Q, B, S, right? So T1, T2, T3, T4 should not be very difficult. T0 is something which you need to be careful about, right? And you have each of the questions have individual ones. What will be the code of this? If, then you have a set of instructions which are given to you. I would suggest, as we do it for all of the questions in this, just write down the list of alphabets from 1 to 26, write it down like this. This also gives you the reverse of it. So if you have to read third letter from the opposite end, it will be X. If you want to read the 9th word from the opposite end, it will be R. If you want to read the 17th letter from the front, 17th letter from the end, it will be J. So you have to just step to the other side. This we have also discussed in all our previous videos of this type. In fact, I suggest that you do something like this when you're given the rough sheet, when you have extra time before the examination. You just write this down, so it will also calm down your nerves as well. So let's go to the questions one by one. Nothing much to do in this except to take care of this particular part. For T0, alternate will be increase and decrease, whereas for T1, T2, T3, you just have to increase by that number of letters and always reverse the word. Always reverse the word to complete the transformation. Okay, question number 1. What will be the code word for swathe, S-W-A-T-H-E, if T0 is applied to it, followed by T3? So first T0, then T3. So let's do it. S-W-A-T-H-E, swathe. Okay, so for T0, S will become T, W will go one before, so X, W will become V, A will become B, R, T will go one before, so S, H will go one after, I, and D will go one before, so D. Now this you'll read from the other end. This will be T0. You'll read T0 from this, so it will be D, I, S, B, V, T. Now for T3, you'll have to increase by 3, so E, D will become 4 plus 3, 7. So G, I will become L, I will become L, S3 after that will be 22. So V, B will become E, V will become Y, and T will become W. And you'll read it from this side. You'll read it from the other hand. So W, Y, E, V, L, G. Right? This will be your correct answer. Okay. Question number 2. If transformations T0, T1, T2, T3 are sequentially performed on a word, the resultant code become L, Z, Y, T, W, J. What will be the original word? Okay. Now instead of trying to recapture it in parts, let's do it for a simple word. So suppose the code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6, right? So 6 letters are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what will happen to this after these transformation, T0, T1, T2, T3. Okay, so after T0, right, 1 will become 2, 2 will become 1, 3 will become 4, 4 will become 3, 5 will become 6, 6 will become 5. You'll read it from this end. Now once you do T1, all of them will increase by 1. So 3, 2, 5, 4, 7, 6. You'll read it from this end. Right. T2 increase by 2. So this will become 5, 4, 7, 6, 7, 9, 8. You'll read it from here. and T3 it will increase by 3. So 11, 12 plus 3 will be 9, 10, 4 will become 7, and 5 will become 8, and you'll read it from here. So after T3 you'll read it from here. So let's see what the transformation has been. 1 has become 8, so it's plus 7. 2 has become 7, so plus 5. 3 has become 10, so plus 7. 4 has become 9, so plus 5. 5 has become 12, so plus 7. And 6 has become 11, so plus 5. So it's alternate plus 7, plus 5, plus 7, plus 5, plus 7, plus 5. After doing all this, the word is L, Z, Y, T, W, J. What will be it originally? L is 12, 12 minus 7 will be 5, so E, that will be our first. Z is 26, 26, this is after adding 5 to it. So before adding 5, it will be 26 minus 5, which is 21, so U. Then you have Y. Y is increased by, after increasing by 7 alphabets, you get Y. So 25 minus 7 is 18, so R. Similarly, T minus 5, 20 minus 5 will be O. W is 7, so W minus 7. 23 minus 7 is 16, so P. And J is plus 5, so 10 minus 5 is E. So Europe will be your original word. So Europe will be your original word. So instead of trying to reconstruct it again and again, or trying to deconstruct back from the original, from the given word, we just moved forward. We took any arbitrary number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and see how much the letter changes. How much do each letter change after each transformation. That's an easier way. And then work it out backwards. Third one, if the transformation T0 is successively applied on a 4-letter word, then how many successive numbers of applications of T0 from the given options, we will definitely get the original 4-letter word back. Okay, you need to get your original 4-letter word back after keeping on repeating T0s. Okay, you're repeating T0s, unlike the previous one where it was T1, T0, T1, T2, T3. Here you're keeping on doing the transformation T0 again and again and again and again. Okay, so let's take a 4-letter word, PQRS. Okay, what will happen after that? P will become Q, Q will become P, R will become S, S will become R, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1. So this is T0. You will read it like this. Now on this, you'll again do plus 1, minus 1. So R will become S, S will become R, P will become Q, Q will become P. So after 2 transformations, T0s go back, after two T0s, you'll go back to the original alphabet. Right. Similarly, if I repeat again T0, you'll get QPSR. Again, if you repeat T0, you'll get PQRS. So for odd number transformations, you will get RSPQ as the transformed word. For even number of transformations, you'll get PQR as the original word. So if you keep on doing even number of transformations, you'll get the original word again and again and again and again. So only even number is 12. Option A is your correct choice. Pretty straightforward. And the last one, transformations T1, T2, T3, T4 are successively applied on a 4-letter word. Suppose N denotes the nth transformation. For example, N1 when T1 is applied, N is equal to 2 when T2 is applied, and so on. The result obtained is identical to the result obtained after at least one of the earlier operations. What is the minimum value of N? Now, you don't need to get the original word. In the previous case, you don't need to get the in the previous case, you have to get the original word back. In this case, you don't need to get the original word, even one of the intermediary words. So if you get if you get RSQ, PQ before PQRS, that is also good enough. right? But you need to get that as quickly as possible. But now the transformations, the orders keeps on changing. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, let's check. Now again, if you were to look at it, let's give it a imaginary number 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? After you give T1, this will become 2, 3, 4, 5, but you'll read it from this side. If you put T2 on this, everything will increase by 2, so it will become 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be T2. Right? If you add T3 now, so it will be 10, 9, 8, 7. This will be T3. So T4 you'll read it from this side. So 11, 12, 13, 14. Now T5 you'll read it from the other end. So add 5. So you'll have 19, 18, 17, 16. So this is T5. T6 you'll read it from the other end. This will be 22, 23, 24, 25. This is T6. T7 will be from the other end. You will get 27 plus 25 plus 7 is 32. There is no 32. So this will go back to 6. This will be 5. This is 4. This is 3. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6 we have not got. Okay, so let's add one more. So T8 you will read from here. This will be 11, 12, 13 and 14. Right, adding 8 to 3 plus 8. Now 11, 12, 13, 14. 11, 12, 13, 14 is same as T4. So one of the intermediate steps is repeated in step 8. So option C will be your correct choice. Right? So very interesting question, not very difficult. First of all, you need to realize that for T0s you had alternate increase decrease, whereas for T1, T2, T3, T4 it's just an increase. And second part was you had to reverse this. It would have been easier if you make a small table of codes with numbers and alphabets. Each question can be done on a one-on-one basis. In an exam situation, about 10 minutes. It's not an easy question, it's a moderate question. Requires more patience and diligence rather than rocket science and speed. Right? That completes this one. That completes this session on must-do sets for CAT LRDI preparation. Please do let us know in the comments below how you like this. Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, or you can connect with us on WhatsApp and Telegram groups. The links are all available in the description of this particular video. If you are facing any problem with CAT LRDI sets, you can look at our YouTube channel playlist on how to prepare for CAT LRDI. If you want any specialized, personalized attention on LRDI preparation in the most structured manner, you can also look at our Ultimate LRDI course. This is the most comprehensive course which is available in the market. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.